Headline: Musk's Cybertruck is already a production nightmare for Tesla. And hi friends, welcome back to the channel. This is Cybertruck week. They're going to have their big event in just a couple of days. And when you get these crazy headlines, right, production nightmare, you know you got to talk about it. So evidently though, they are making them. This just came out. It's dated November 27th. I guess they got like 25 of them at the factory. Earlier reports, I heard that they were making like 10 and they were going to show like a few. I mean, it's not mass production, right? And we've already talked about before how they initially, when they first put out like the, was it the vehicle delivery contract thing, they were saying, hey, you can't resell it or we'll sue you. They ended up going back on that. But kind of the thing that people have been saying in the comments, which is probably true, is, maybe they, sell 10, maybe 20, who knows, maybe as much as 50. I say who knows, but they'll probably give these things to like social influencers and it'll just be sort of a buzz thing. The big issue though, as I'm just watching the news on Cybertruck and stuff like that, is the stainless steel body is going to be tough to manufacture. And the issue is going to be panel gaps. We've talked about this before. Now, they did release some in showrooms, which people have been actually going to see. I want to say it's like 25 showrooms. So if you guys actually saw one in person, let me know. I'm in Korea. We have Teslas here, but I don't think we have a Cybertruck in a showroom where I can actually go physically see it. The thing is about this is that it's true. It generates buzz. I mean, we're talking about it. People go to look at it. But the issue is, does this, buzz, does this interest in this thing actually generate sales? Like this is just more of a pro one. Someone was saying, hey, I saw the Cybertruck up close. My jaw's still on the floor. But again, like, you're interested in this thing, but would you actually buy it? The marketing is fascinating. This was over at one of the showrooms. You can see here they had a big sign, designed to be the world's toughest truck. And the funniest thing about this is that the way sort of Elon Musk brags about it is like, hey, buy it. It can survive bows and arrows. It can survive guns. For real, that's like part of the hype. And I mean, maybe it can, I guess if there were to be an apocalypse, this would be the vehicle that you want. Many people have said actually in Europe, which I think is an interesting one, is that these sharp edges on the corners and stuff like that, would be a pedestrian nightmare and would not get approved in Europe. So for those of you in Europe, I'd love to hear more about in your particular countries if there's vehicles that are anything like this where it's like really sharp edges. The thing about the Cybertruck is interesting because for those of you who are young kids, fanboys and fangirls, you may not know about the DeLorean. This was the Back to the Future car when I was a kid. So if you guys don't know, I'm pushing 50. Back to the Future was an awesome movie. I mean, fantastic movie. And part of the story of the thing was like you use this car to time travel, right? Was it like 205 gigawatts? Or I can't remember exactly what it was, but you have to have lightning to power the thing. And the company was DeLorean. They ended up going bankrupt in 1982. I looked up the date, and I remember that they were cool. They were cool cars. But does being a cool car, and this was also made of stainless steel, does that equal a profitable company or a sustainable business model? For the DeLorean, no. So now Tesla on their behalf, they do have other products. The issue is going to be is like, does this Cybertruck, is this kind of the catalyst that sort of puts them in a real bad spot? Elon Musk has already said, during a conference call that they're digging their own grave with the Cybertruck. We'll see. I always find this one really funny because I think the fanboys and fangirls don't want to admit that this may not work. Now, to be fair to Tesla, they do have different products. So this is an interesting one. It's like, you can see this is sort of how they usually ramp up production of these things. So you have the Model S, the X, the 3, and the Y. The Y and the 3 are the big sellers, right? So you can see that these lines are basically they start making them slowly and then they jump up. Whereas like the S, they never really made that many of them, right? Neither with the X. You guys can see right here, and this is quarter since launch. So where will the Cybertruck fit in? Is it going to be more like a 3 where they're making a ton of these things, or are they going to go more flat and not that many production? I was looking at the website of Tesla Cybertruck here, looking for a price. Still no price. So they're probably going to announce that at the announcement event again. I think that's November 30th. What's interesting though is I've never mentioned it before, but it's right here in their marketing, right on their webpage. It says Cybertruck, better utility than a truck with more performance than a sports car, I laugh at this one because whenever we look at these pictures and we talk about this in the channel, people always question the utility of this thing because the bed isn't really that big and it's not really a work truck. It's just not. It's way closer to a car, and I guess it's a sports car. It depends, how you want to look at it. And people who are the fanboys and fangirls, they say, "Oh, Chris, well, they got 2 million pre-orders. They're so awesome." The thing is, the pre-order was only $100, fully refundable, and it's not a legitimate pre-order. The reason why I say not legitimate, because you don't know what the price is, right? Any kid can put $100, on their credit card or whatever, and say, "Yeah, I reserved a Cybertruck. I'm so cool." But then when the price comes out to be, and this is sort of what I want to talk with you about today, like way out of the realm of affordability or practicality, right? Then deposits kind of means nothing. And it's interesting because like when people say, "Oh, well, Chris, Elon Musk is awesome. He does everything." Okay, well, where's our Roadster, guys? That's a legitimate question. Where's our Roadster, right? This was promised years ago. Still no Roadster. And I'll also say, hey, where's our robots, right? So, and the fanboys and fangirls think that all this stuff is going to come to fruition. Well, we'll see. Maybe. The one thing that was really interesting is that people like to bring politics when we talk about, Tesla Cybertruck. And there was an interesting headline. I'll read it to you guys. Tesla Cybertruck will test America's great political divide. So I kind of question this. I'm not so certain it's necessarily, I love, Biden and the Democrats, so therefore I'll buy electric vehicles. I don't know if it really breaks down like that, if people think that way. Because it's interesting because, I would argue Trump's more on the other side of the aisle, and, people who are the fanboys and fangirls tend to, lean more that way. And it's interesting because like this chart here just shows, Biden states tend to buy more EVs than Trump states, but I think it's more economics than necessarily your political affiliations. And this is an interesting one, and this is kind of curious, and I'll talk about Rivian in a second here. You'll see why this relates. These are the states that are buying EVs. So the top ones, at least according to this is coming out of Bloomberg, California, Washington, Oregon, then you got Hawaii, Nevada, Colorado, New Jersey, Massachusetts, Maryland, and Virginia. So, if you can classify all these states as being, pro-Biden or pro-Trump, no, I would say not necessarily, right? Like a Nevada, Colorado, I think those are swing states. Virginia can be a swing state. I don't think California, Washington, Oregon are, but or Mass, but some of these other ones are. And the reason why I'm mentioning the Rivian thing is that this was something that I again question the Cybertruck stuff because going into recession and people are struggling, like how much is this thing going to cost, and are people really going to pay those prices? Now, evidently, I was reading some articles, and this could be all marketing hype from Rivian, but they were saying though that, at least Rivian was saying, that a lot of people were demanding, leases on Rivians. Like they want to get into Rivian, but maybe they can't afford it, so therefore they want to lease it. If that makes any sense. But just to let you guys know, if you do want to lease a Rivian, there's 14 states you can do it. They just announced that. I was like yesterday. It's Arizona, California, Colorado, Florida, Georgia, Massachusetts, Michigan, Missouri, New Jersey, New York, Nevada, Pennsylvania, Texas, and Washington. You can lease a Rivian. And I was looking at the price of these things. Guys, I actually didn't know they were this much. So this is over on Rivian's website. They're around 93 grand. I don't mean to cross it out, I mean to circle it. And if you want to lease these things, the lease is about $800 to $900 a month. And it's, I laugh because it's like, the older you get, like things seem really expensive because, you just remember the days when you could, buy things for say 20,000, that kind of thing. And this is like 5 times that. It's funny because I, don't know how large the market is for essentially a work truck slash, how can I say? I grew up around construction sites. I'm just telling you guys the truth. I grew up around construction sites. I grew up around construction workers, and the idea that construction workers these days can afford to spend $94,000 on a truck seems so ludicrous to me. And it turned out I'm not crazy. So I was looking at the Ford web. What I mean by not crazy pricing wise, I was looking at the Ford website. If you want to pick up a Ford 150 for essentially the cheapest configuration new, they're about 33s, right? So I'm not like talking crazy stuff of like, because like I know the people out there are like, oh Chris, but that's just what trucks cost. trucks cost $93,000. Actually, they don't. So like I said, you can pick up the lowest Ford for 33, but yes, if you want to get the highest configuration, it's going to be 83, right? That kind of thing. And also in comparison to just talk prices of cars. I was over just at Toyota's website, which I consider to be very reliable cars. The cheapest Toyotas these days is going to be like your Corolla, or actually, yeah, Corolla like around 21, 22. And then you can pick up a Prius for like 32, something like that. And I'm sure with, options, stuff like that, 35, maybe the highest end is going to be 40, that kind of thing. So, when you're looking at getting like a Rivian, you're looking at double of what a Toyota would be. And, I was looking at the Tacomas, right? They're obviously more affordable as well. Moreover, I was checking out and this is coming from Edmunds, and I'm acknowledging that, when you read sites like Edmunds or Auto Trader or whatever, like there's marketing involved, but they're saying, hey, good trucks is going to be like your Ram 2500 or your Chevrolet or your GMC or Sierra, and those are your heavy duty ones. And pricing wise, just talking about pricing, they come in around 40 to 70, right? So, I had to give a reference or get a reference point to where, like, when you talk about Rivians being 93, is that cheap or is that expensive compared to other trucks? It is expensive. So, my opinion on the Cybertruck thing is like, if Rivians are 93 and these trucks over here, these heavy duty ones are, 40 to 70, or if you want to just go like, and you guys can, tell me if you want a large truck or a heavy duty truck, like which are the better sellers. Like even here, Fords are 34 to 107. Ram 1500s 37 to 84, Toyota Tundra 40 to 78. And I know some people in the community have all these different types of vehicles, so they're all pretty competitive. So Cybertruck being electric, I think they originally, when they first announced it, they said, hey, you might be able to get one for like 40. I don't think so. Looking at the prices of the current vehicles on the market, thinking about the Rivian, I wouldn't be shocked if the lowest Cybertruck is more like 60 to 70, the lowest one, because I was over on Tesla's website, and this is the Model X. You're looking at 68 to 91, right? So, and we may even see $100,000 Cybertruck. So then, the question goes back to their marketing, and again, it's their marketing. Where is it here? They're saying, hey, better utility than a truck, which I would question. More performance than a sports car. I mean, maybe. Who's gonna buy this thing? And if it comes at 60 and 70, how many are they actually gonna sell? I think they're going to be popular among, people on YouTube and stuff like that, because it's fun to make these kind of vehicles, and you could probably do a Cybertruck channel and talk about, going to drive-thrus with your Cybertruck and going to the beach with your Cybertruck and all these kind of things. But at the end of the day, I tend to think it's going to be more like a DeLorean. Now, will this bankrupt Tesla? Remember, DeLorean went bankrupt in 1982. Not necessarily, because they do sell cars, right? The Model 3, they got their charging network and stuff like that, right? They do sell cars. They do make money. But when we're talking about, say, like, Tesla, the stock and stuff like that, I just think it's grossly overvalued. The basic gist of it is that when you talk about this stuff, and this is from Elon Musk's own mouth, or words out of his mouth, is they say, hey, the reason why you'd want to invest in this company is because you're going to make so much money with robotaxis, and full self-driving is going to be the future, etc. Maybe. But it's not here yet, and he's always given us lots and lots of promises. So, my response to the people out there is so show me the Roadster, right? Show me the full self-driving and moreover, like the thing with the Cybertruck, it's going to be really heavy. We showed you the video, guys, before, where it had trouble going up a hill, made out of stainless steel. It's going to be really heavy, and I'm not seeing it. So it is fun to watch, though, to be perfectly frank, because is this thing going to even have a chance, and will people buy it, and what the price is going to be? So that's my thoughts on the Cybertruck. I'd love to hear yours as well. Always appreciate your time, and I'll catch you in the next video.